At 23, Donald Ross earned his bachelor's degree in fine arts from the New York Institute of Technology, where he remained a graduate student and teacher. He would also earn a master's in education from Hofstra University and a Doctor of Laws degree from the New York Institute of Technology. Raised as an only child on Long Island, Dr. Ross quickly learned the value of self-reliance, cultivating an unyielding work ethic that earned him success and respect. This dedication didn't just elevate his career, it transformed lives. His journey soon led him to the role of Dean of Student Services at the Institute. He wouldn't be alone for long. While assisting in establishing a campus on the historic Cornelius Vanderbilt Whitney estate, he crossed paths with Helen Langren, a fellow educator working on the campus master plan through a Ford Foundation grant. Their connection went beyond a shared work ethic. They both harbored a love for humanity, a belief in equality, and a commitment to service.
We were out in the boondocks, really. The Vanderbilt Whitney estate was about 300 acres of land, and we were just a small group of people there developing the campus. And one day I asked Helen if she'd like to go out to dinner. It was seeing the students. It was a basketball game I was supposed to be at. So I said to Helen, would you like to go to a basketball game? She said, oh, I love basketball. I don't know if she really did. However, we never made the basketball game. So the students were waiting for me the following day, wondering why we didn't come. But we had an enjoyable dinner, and we became very close, and we were married in 6 months. Much to the surprise and chagrin of our families.
And that was 57 years ago. And we're still together.
Even before they met, Dr. Ross, who was just 25, had a vision. He believed that every first-generation student and those lacking the financial means should still have the opportunity to pursue a college education, regardless of their economic circumstances. Americans were restless and worried. President John F. Kennedy had been assassinated, and the country was in the throes of the Vietnam War. The Rosses realized that while American colleges experienced significant growth, serving some 4 million students in the 60s compared to 2 million in the 40s, many students were left behind. Some lacked the resources to attend college. Others had faced various challenges. They were rejected from colleges that had become too large and impersonal. So, 6 months after they married, the Rosses decided to offer those students the academic opportunities they would not have had otherwise.
I had this concept, and there was a group of people up in the Adirondacks who were interested in having a school. I said, well, I'd be interested in working with them. Having been doing what I was doing at the university, I had the chance to meet the head of the Middle States, the head of the State Board of Education, the Board of Regents. I shared with them that this group of people were interested in establishing a school. This was to help a small little town that had a huge summer population. In the wintertime, there were about 1,000 people. In the summertime, there was maybe 25,000. If they had a school, that would be income during the off-season. In the Board of Regents, the state of New York is very controlling of educational institutions. And any school that's interested in being established, even community colleges at the time, all the colleges around it within 100 miles has the right to say that that's in their master plan, and then that the Board of Regents will decide whether they should, accept a new college. That didn't happen because of the fact that they didn't think they needed another institution.
However, when New York laws led 3 colleges to object to his plan to move to the donated land, Dr. Ross sought advice, determined to overcome the obstacles in his path.
There was another lady her name was Sadie Brown. She was the president and had founded a school in New York, the Brown's Business Institute. So I went in to see Ms. Brown. She said, there's a little state that down in called Delaware, and I had never been to Delaware. She said she knew this Dr. Elizabeth Lloyd, and Dr. Lloyd was the head of education for the state of Delaware, all the way from preschool to university level. And now when I say university level, at that time there was only one university in the state of Delaware, and that was the University of Delaware. And there was Delaware College, which was a private school, and the president was Luna Michoud. and that school was down in Dover, and there was no Delaware Tech. So we applied for a four-year degree as the first four-year college in the state of Delaware.
The University of Delaware and Delaware College were both established as state institutions. With Wilmington College, the Rosses were breaking new ground, founding the state's first private nonprofit college. Dr. Lloyd gave her approval, but with specific stipulations attached.
You cannot recruit in Delaware for a year. And it was December 27th, 1967, we were chartered or licensed to operate in the state of Delaware. If you check your charter, it's actually the University of Wilmington. Helen's father, just the thought of me leaving a school as dean of students or even considering opening a college was not in his.
Well, actually, our first date that we dated while we were working together was the night of the East Coast blackout. And we're sitting there, and Don gives the whole story about he's going to open up a college and blah, blah, blah. And he goes through this whole scenario. And I said, oh, Roy, here we go. And when I went home and told my family, they said, Helen, think twice about what you're doing, you know. However, we're still together.
Around this time, they met Ed Gersh, a part-time instructor at the New York Institute of Technology.
Now, I was dean of students of the school, and he came in and he said, I'd like to talk to you. I thought he'd come in to talk about a student. And he said, I'm Ed Gersh. I'm a part-time instructor here. He said, I understand you're thinking of opening a college. He said, well, are you looking for investors? I said, well, I'm not looking for investors. I'm looking for people to donate money because we're a nonprofit institution. He said, well, I think I could probably get people to help you do that. And I said, well, he said, but I'd like to make sure that our money was protected. I'd like to be on the board. And so when we incorporated, it was Helen, myself, and he had his wife and himself. But I was expecting him to, raise a lot of money, which needless to say he didn't. But that's the story of Ed Gersh.
As admissions director, Mrs. Ross played a crucial role in recruiting the first 194 students, focusing primarily on New Jersey and New York, since Delaware was off-limits for recruitment during the inaugural year. Their search for a suitable location led them to the vacant Tour Inn, nestled on 25 acres along U.S. Route 13 in Newcastle.
We came down here together looking at places to where we would open up a school, and that was actually perfect, really. And
Tour Inn Hotel was located a few miles from the Delaware Motor Bridge. But when they built this hotel, about 4 years before they built the bridge, people would stay there. And the gas station that's next door to the present, it's still there. That was the closest to refuel before you got on the ferry to go to New Jersey. And it was ideal. It had 2 students to a room with their own bathroom. You had a cafeteria that was operating as the restaurant. You had rooms upstairs that were for truckers who would park their vehicles in the back. Those rooms became the offices for the original faculty and staff. And then we didn't have a place for the library, so we actually gutted the old gas station, which I noticed this morning is still here. And we were looking for library books. And so we were encouraging people to donate books.
The Rosses had grown accustomed to financial backing in New York, but that support was initially absent in Delaware. This changed when Ed Gersh and family members stepped in, helping the Rosses secure the necessary funds to advance their vision.
My parents, Helen's parents, and Mr. Gersh lent us gave us the money for my parents, but we later paid Mr. Gersh back for the money that he invested in the early times. It wasn't a lot of money.
from what I remember, we advertised a lot in the New York Times, a chance to prove yourself, the C+ student, and we got lots of applications that way.
The New York Times at one time had a whole educational section. This was before computers, this is before all of that. And it attracted a lot of students. In those days, you had a huge number of students applying to the public universities and stuff because of the demand, the baby boomers and the veterans coming back from the war. We were ready. We had several rooms ready to show, and the rooms were perfect. We had to buy different beds because we had 2 students to a bed, not 1 double bed. So we had to buy beds like that. And we bought them from Sears and Roebuck. Went down to the Sears and Roebuck people, and we worked out an arrangement. When you're our age, you may be so dumb that you really don't know what you're doing, and or naive, I should say. And we did what we had to do.
You could only do this when you're young, because I think when you're older, you might have a little more sense.
Having worked in New York and lived on the Vanderbilt estate, the Rosses were accustomed to a more luxurious lifestyle. Their new life in Delaware was decidedly more modest. They settled into the school-side apartments, a humble residence near the new college's Newcastle campus.
We live in the school-side apartments down the road in Newcastle. 2-bedroom apartment. We had no children at that time, so that's where we lived. The newspaper person in Newcastle said, "Well, why are you calling it Wilmington College? You should call it Newcastle College." And I said, well, we've already made the name the University of Wilmington. We've had to change it to Wilmington College. I don't think I can go down there and tell them that I'm going to try to be nice to the newspaper. I didn't want, and they understood. I said, well, this is perfect. We have the facility that has the bedrooms, the food services, and we had the Diocese of Wilmington, again, thanks to the Handleys, loaned us the portable classrooms that they had that they didn't have any use for. So, but they were on loan, and I don't think we ever paid them for them.
With funds running low, the Rosses turned to their families, leveraging their talents to help build their vision.
Helen's father was with the New York Telephone Company, and he had his son working there by the name of Langren. And he came in and he said, "I'd like to come to Delaware with you." And I said, "Well, you better talk to your father." He went and told his father that he was going to join Helen and Dawn to establish the school. Well, now this man who didn't like the fact that his daughter was marrying somebody that's not there, now his son is gone, gave up his pension and put his pension money that he had into the program.
The moment had finally arrived. After relentless efforts, the inaugural class of Wilmington College was successfully enrolled. Yet, Mrs. Ross knew her responsibilities extended beyond the students. She had to ensure the well-being of the faculty as well.
Well, you have to stay, but Helen would have to entertain them. So they come from New Jersey, and they had to use the restrooms. We had received a silver pitcher, which was on the table at the thing.
A wedding gift, it was.
With a wedding gift.
So then they come and they wanted to use the facility, and I said, "Well, just one moment, please." And I immediately run in and fill the toilet up and then come back out, and they could.
There was a tap outside. She literally would take the water from the tap and bring it in, and always kept it there. And she'd only pray that they wouldn't flush twice.
It was exciting.
With the school up and running, the Rosses turned their focus to recruiting staff, including Dr. Nicholas Mazzarella, who became the first academic dean. Despite the unconventional setup, a strong sense of community flourished under the Rosses' leadership, fostering an environment dedicated to student success. By the second semester, students who had once commuted home on weekends were now choosing to stay on campus. Now, the challenge was figuring out how to purchase the campus itself.
We hired from part-time faculty from the University of Delaware, so we had very qualified teachers teaching, and that was extra money for them because they were full-time faculty members at the University of Delaware. Luna Mashu was very good to us. I mean, he wrote a letter years ago when we first applied for the Middle States, our library. I mean, he said that we could use their library, but now we didn't have the computers and stuff like that. So it means that if a student wanted the book, but we were just trying to find ways to get buy library books.
Classes were in full swing when the Rosses faced their next challenge: acquiring a library. In 1971, Dr. Ross visited Marymount College in Boca Raton, Florida, a women's school, sadly on the brink of bankruptcy. What began as a mission to buy the college's library became something far more significant.
John McDonald was, truth be told, they used to babysit for Helen, and we became very good friends, I think, over the years. John McDonald had been involved in education in admissions, and he was also with Taylor Publishing. And one day he came into the office and he said, there's a school down in Florida, in Boca Raton, and it's a Catholic girls' 2-year school, and they've announced that they're closing. coeducation had come into vogue. So all junior colleges throughout the country, they became coeducation, or they merged, or they became partners with other colleges. So the 2-year junior colleges were really suffering. Marymount found themselves in real trouble. The Board of Trustees decided to close it. So anyhow, John McDonald and Rich Hanley, I went down, we made an appointment to meet with them to talk about acquiring their library. They said, why would you buy the library? Just buy the whole place. And we thought they were kidding. So we came back, said we'd like to make affiliation between the two colleges.
The creation of the Federation of Colleges and Universities was Dr. Ross's brainchild.
The Federation of Colleges and Universities was founded to establish an institution where colleges could be worked together under one federation.
The Rosses also inspired the concept of strategic partnerships, which Wilmington University embraces today. Leaders from what was then Salem Technical Institute, eager to offer degrees but struggling to succeed in New Jersey, learned about the Rosses' accomplishments in Delaware. This led to a successful collaboration.
Salem was a 2-year public institution, and they actually approached us in the beginning. They came over and just wanted to check to see how we got accredited. Could they be accredited in the state? And I said, well, you'd have to go down and apply and all that. And I said, well, this Federation of Colleges and Universities, we could develop that so you could still be your 2-year, but then at the end of 2 years, they would come over to Wilmington. The Twin Bridges, we called it. They had just finished the bridges so they could cross back and forth. And I think for the time, some of the students had to come here in the beginning earlier, and then it was allowed to offer the degrees.
Now, Dr. Ross was seeking accreditation for Wilmington College, while also serving as president of the College of Boca Raton.
Well, we were very lucky. Eastern Airlines was operating out of Wilmington across the street, nonstop to Palm Beach. So it was wonderful. With Atlantic Aviation, we started the aviation program here at the college. They said, pilots, rather than just sitting in the plane waiting for the group to go, and why don't we have pilots who are educated, have their degrees, and they can be part of the team, and then we're not wasting having them just sit in an airplane. They could have it, and that was the 4-year degree in aviation management. And that was successful for many years.
Dr. Ross managed responsibilities for both schools until 1977, a role that required frequent travel, overseeing 2 administrations, managing 2 student bodies, and reporting to 2 boards, though some board members served both organizations. This dual leadership allowed students to easily transfer between the institutions, earn college credits, and access unique academic opportunities that wouldn't have been available otherwise. During these 6 years, both schools thrived under his guidance, but by the late 1970s, it became clear that each institution needed its own dedicated leader. Dr. Ross was faced with a choice between Florida and Delaware. To weigh his options, he discussed the possibility of choosing Florida with Mr. Irene Dupont, who became a member of Wilmington College's Board of Trustees in 1971, and then served as its chairman from 1984 to 2013.
He wasn't happy with that. No, he said, why would you want to do that? We were living on the DuPont estate. We had a lovely home. So, I mean, it was a big decision. Helen had no desire to go down and live in an apartment in a dormitory with 3rd floor, and the students were on the 2nd floor. I mean, that's something that she did. Not too many ladies would do a thing like that. And she was the person that was behind a lot of this. They called her the first lady of Lynn University. She certainly was, but she also was the first lady here. She recruited the first class at this institution. And without her, there wouldn't be any of this. So, I mean, I had a bride who was willing to believe in what I believed in and did what we had to do to do it. It was not easy. I mean, we're lucky we had parents that helped us financially to the extent that they could. They were not multimillionaires. They were just normal middle-class people. But we basically...
We survived.
We survived.
They chose Florida. As Dr. Ross presided over the College of Boca Raton, Mrs. Ross's sharp entrepreneurial instincts shone even brighter, mainly through her successful management of summer camps.
Trying to meet the payroll, and in the summertime you don't have the student enrollment, so I had the two kids out, and I was in the mall, and I saw this sign that this person was going to open up a camp on the campus of Marymount. And I said, no, she's not. I said, I'm going to open up the camp. So I went about. My poor old mother, I had her walking up and down streets to put things in people's mailboxes, which you're not allowed to do, I know, but we did it. And then I also, when they had the baby announcements, and they'd have the picture of the new baby, and then, but back in those days, they'd put the address. I kept every one of those addresses because I figured those kids in 3 years would be coming to camp. And we started with 26 kids at camp. We're now, today, probably 3,000.
The Rosses have flourished in higher education, but their journey began with a shared dream. Two energetic and passionate educators coming together to create opportunities for all students. United by a belief in the right to quality education for all, they committed themselves to expanding access and opening doors for every student, a philosophy that guides Wilmington University today.
So it's amazing how things happen that we don't necessarily expect. We met, were married, came down and built this institution, and then went on to build another institution.
I have 2 beautiful children, and 4 beautiful grandchildren, and all that is perfect.
Wilmington University's career-focused curriculum empowers today's students to realize their dreams, a truth reflected in the proud faces of every new graduate. Recently, the Rosses were honored at a Wilmington University commencement ceremony. It was a full-circle moment. They had returned to Delaware, where their dedication had turned aspirations into achievements.
Well, what was, I think, most touching was to look around and to see so many wonderful young people graduating from the college. Many I know were probably first student. And it was very touching. I mean, it was to see this was being a dream fulfilled.